Had to get a cold sip of water before I more than likely run my mouth for the next 30 minutes. But what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel. I am, of course, your host, Joseph Conlon. The past 2 days has been absolutely brutal to be a Miami Dolphins fan. And it's got me to the point where I've given up all hope. The season is over. I'm ready to move on to the offseason. And I'm not wearing anything Dolphins until game day. As you can see right here, I'm wearing Flyers merchandise. The Flyers stink right now. But I'd rather support the Flyers and the 76ers, who are playing great basketball, by the way, than the Miami Dolphins. I'd rather support those teams. It's hard, man. It's hard. You can only give so much energy to a team that does the same thing to you every single year, that steals your heart every single year. And that's what the Miami Dolphins do. It's what they do. The franchise is cursed, no matter what. Doesn't matter who the coach is, who the quarterback is, what talent they bring in. This franchise is cursed. And I'm going to stick with them for my entire life because I love the Dolphins. But right now, as a Miami Dolphins fan, life is hard. It's pretty challenging. You see the title. That's the main topic of discussion. Tua Tagovailoa is back in concussion protocol. We're going to get right into it. If you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and check out the post-game recap video that I did against the Green Bay Packers Sunday. I think one of the most brutal losses I've ever seen. The worst loss on the season by far. And just a game that I'm going to remember for a very long time for the wrong reasons. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Because there's a bunch of topics that surrounds all of this. Yesterday, everybody, all the Dolphin content creators came out with the breaking news videos yesterday. I wanted to wait till today just to gather my thoughts during the night when I woke up this morning and then tell you guys what I think. I didn't want to rush to my conclusions and to my opinions. And yes, I'm allowed to have my own opinion. These no-name people on Twitter don't deserve to tell me what I can and can't say. So, let's get into it. The report came out yesterday around 5:30 that Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is back in concussion protocol. I didn't even see when the play happened until yesterday. It was a second down pass. The defender was right behind his back. Durham Smythe, he dumped the ball off to Durham Smythe, and Tua went down. He got tackled, and his head bounced off the ground. And that's where many people believe he got the concussion, and that's what more than likely he did. I'm assuming it's a concussion more than likely. I believe it's a concussion, but we're not going to get any answers today. It's more than likely going to come from the head coach tomorrow because they do press conferences on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So more than likely, tomorrow we'll get the answers on how severe this is. Is he going to play? And that's my next topic of discussion. I don't care anymore, man. The season is a lost cause. You're going to get the same result with Tua, without Tua. It doesn't matter. So what's the best case scenario I'm talking about this season and this season only. What's the best case scenario? The best case scenario is you shut him down for the rest of the season. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm not letting him step on the field the rest of the season because God forbid, man, God forbid he suffers a fourth concussion. We're never going to hear the end of it. And we're not hearing the end of it today because that's all everybody's talking about is Tua Tagovailoa this, and they got the agendas back. And it stinks. I feel bad for the kid. I really do. I love Tua. Just want you guys to know that I've given him a lot of criticism the past 2 days. However, I love Tua. He's my quarterback, so I'm going to support him. I'm allowed to have whatever opinion I want on Tua, but if he's wearing a Dolphins jersey, I'm going to rock with Tua. But he's been through a lot, man. He's been through a lot the past 4 years. He had the severe hip injury in Alabama right before the NFL draft. Well, like maybe this is going to bring down his stock. Maybe he's not going to be as high as a draft pick as we might expect him to be. Wouldn't you know it? The 5th overall pick in the 2020 draft, the Miami Dolphins selected Tua Tagovailoa. In 2020, he really didn't face any injuries. It was mostly, if he was not playing great, they would put Fitzpatrick in for him and let him sit down. That's what mostly 2020 was. They swung in Tua right after the bye week. I don't think they should have done that. Fitzpatrick was playing great at the time. I don't think they should have done that, but they decided to start Tua, and when he was playing really not great against teams like the Broncos and the Raiders, they benched Tua in favor of Fitzpatrick. That was mostly 2020. 2021 is now the 2021 season is where the injuries mostly start to happen. In 2021, you have the ribs, which put him out for like 3 weeks. The finger put him out for a week. And now it's this year, the concussions. So in the past 4 years, he's injured his hip. He's injured his ribs. The finger deal. And he's got 3 concussions. Again, we don't know if it's a concussion or not, but I'm assuming it's going to be another concussion. I'm just preparing for the worst, that he's going to have another concussion. He should not step on the field again this season. It's not worth it. The season's over. You're not beating the Chiefs in the first round with Tua. It's not happening. And it's not worth him going out there and getting hurt again. It's not worth it, man. It's not. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm shutting him down the rest of the season, and I'm starting Skylar Thompson. I'm not even putting Teddy Bridgewater out there because we know Teddy Bridgewater is not the future of this team. We've got this young 7th round, 6th round rookie from Kansas State who didn't look great against the Jets when he was in for Teddy. And then we got a full week of preparation with him going into the Vikings game. And before he got hurt, he was making throws. Skylar was making plays. And then he got hurt and Teddy came in. And the only time we've seen Skylar the rest of the season is in blowouts. The entire second half was mostly Skylar Thompson against the Texans, and they couldn't move the ball. He came in against the 49ers at the end of the game. First play was an interception. But if this organization's smart, which I know this is not going to happen, but you shut down Tua for the rest of the season and you just ride it out with Skylar Thompson because it's not worth it. It's really not worth it anymore, man. It's not worth it to scratch and claw the final 2 weeks against the Patriots and the Jets just to go get embarrassed by the Chiefs in the playoffs. It's not worth it. I know my goal this season was to win a playoff game, but it's not happening. It's not happening. So it's not even worth it at this point. I'm just ready to move into the offseason, prepare for next year, because more than likely, we're not going to make the playoffs. I'm telling y'all right now, more than likely, the Dolphins are not going to make the playoffs. A big change is going to happen in the organization. Something big is going to happen that Stephen Ross is going to have to grow a pair and make a huge choice. And it's either going to be firing the general manager Greer, firing McDaniel, which is ridiculous. So I wouldn't even put that in the conclusion. That would be ridiculous if they fired McDaniel in the offseason. And the other option is move on from Tua. Now the next topic of discussion, many of y'all probably aren't going to like this, but I thought about it, and it's the best situation for Tua. Like I said earlier, this man has gone through a lot the past 4 years. The hip, the ribs, the finger, and now the concussions. He's proven that he's injury prone. He's proven that, and this is not me being disrespectful, this is not me being an asshole, and I tweeted this out. You can give criticism to Tua all you want, but if you're out there making fun of his concussions, you're just a straight jerk. That's just the truth of the reality. If you're out there making fun of his concussions, you're just a jerk, man. But the truth of the reality is, he's had the hip injury in college. He's had the ribs, the finger, and now the concussions. If I'm Tua, I'm retiring. I'm retiring. It's not worth it. You don't want to see, you don't want to have your wife, your daughter, your young daughter, your parents, your entire family suffer through injury after injury after injury after injury. It's not fun. At what point do you think that his parents don't go to him and be like, hey, maybe this isn't for you. We don't want to see you injured like this. We don't want to see you get banged up every single year. That's what happened to Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck retired in 2019 because he's been like he said every single year, I'm physically getting beat up. And it's taken a lot on my body. And my life is more prestigious than winning football games. And he's right. He's right. Football is you love the game of football. But your family, that's prestigious. Your family is prestigious. And I know for someone who's played football for 4 years in high school, I've seen some pretty bad injuries. And it's not worth it. Luckily, I never got injured in the 4 years that I played football. But seeing this kid get hurt year after year, it makes me sad. It makes me sad seeing him put in all the hard work just for him to get injured. And we're back at the same square we were in September with the concussions. And I don't think it's worth it for him anymore. I don't. There's a lot of things that Tua can do. He can just start up and focus on his family. He can go be a commentator. He can go be an analyst for the SEC network. Tim Tebow retired early from the NFL and was an analyst on College Game Day. Tua can go do that. I think he'd be pretty good at it. Tim Tebow was. Why can't Tua? There's a lot of things for him to go and be successful as. If it's a commentator, an analyst on the SEC network, an analyst on College Game Day, I feel like Tua would fit fine in that. Sometimes you just got to think, other things are better for me than what I'm doing right now. It's kind of like a job, to be real. If you're not happy at a job that you're at, you're making money. You're going in there, you're getting your hours in, but you're not happy and you don't feel belong. I mean, you feel belonged, but you're not happy. You got to move on. And that's what a job's like. If you're just making money but you're not happy, then go find another job. And that's kind of what this situation is with Tua. He loves football, but is his family happy seeing him get injured all the time? It might not be worth it for him. The best thing for him might be to follow the footsteps of Andrew Luck and be like, hey, you know what? Life is more prestigious to me than winning football games. That might be the best thing for him. But is he going to retire? I don't know. I don't know, man. But let's say he doesn't. Let's say he doesn't retire. He doesn't have a concussion, and the Dolphins play him, and they somehow make the playoffs, but they lose in the first round. I'm moving on from Tua. My evaluation for quarterbacks in the NFL is I give you 3 years. I give you 3 years. If I've seen enough that you can be a very good quarterback in the NFL, you can stay healthy, you can be available when we need you, and you can get it done in the clutch, then you deserve to get multiple opportunities and potentially be our franchise quarterback. And unfortunately, this is switching to the football side of things. I don't see that in Tua. I just don't. Tua has shown potential that he can be a very good quarterback. I'm not saying he's a flat-out horrible quarterback, but he's shown a lot of potential. But the main two things that we wanted answered this season were actually 3 things. Do you have potential to be a very good quarterback? Yes. Can you win big games in December to get your team into the playoffs? No. Can you stay healthy for us during the course of the season? No. So with those 2 things alone, not winning big games in December and not staying healthy, I'm moving on from Tua. And I know the Dolphins don't have a lot of cap space going into free agency. The season's over. I don't care. Let's look at these free agent quarterbacks in the 2023 free agent class. If let's say the Dolphins move on from Tua, which I think they should. If he doesn't retire, they should move on from Tua after this season. Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. I'm just going to name realistic quarterbacks that the Dolphins could go get in free agents. Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo, Daniel Jones, Jacoby Brissett, Geno Smith, Mike White, Taylor Heineke, Lamar Jackson. That's about it. So, realistically, the Dolphins don't have cap a lot of cap space. Actually, they're in the negatives. So, they're not going for Lamar Jackson, and they're not going for Tom Brady. So more than likely, and Gardner Minshew's a free agent too. So you're more than likely you're looking at Jimmy G on a short term. You're looking at a veteran for a 1-year deal. Jimmy G's an option. Baker Mayfield's an option. I think Daniel Jones is going to re-sign with the Giants. He deserves another opportunity. I think he's played well for them this year. Geno Smith could be an option, although I think he's going to re-sign with the Seahawks. Taylor Heineke's an option if Washington decides to go after a quarterback. And Gardner Minshew's an option. So if the Dolphins move on from Tua, they don't have a lot of cap space. Realistically, you're looking at Baker Mayfield, Jimmy G, Geno Smith, Taylor Heineke, and Gardner Minshew. One of those quarterbacks. Just a prediction. This is, again, season's not even over yet, but realistically, if the Dolphins move on from Tua, they don't have the cap space to go get Lamar Jackson. It's just not realistic. I would love to have an elite quarterback like Lamar Jackson. I would love to have the greatest football quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. It's just not realistic. So the quarterbacks I named, those are the quarterbacks you're looking at. And we could talk more about that going into the offseason, but we'll see. Time will tell. But you guys see the title, what is Tua's future with the Dolphins and the NFL? I really think the best option for him is sitting out for the rest of the season and retiring. So, let me know what you guys think. Am I being too critical? Am I overreacting? Or am I spot on correct? So, we'll see. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Finally, no Dolphins content. AEW New Year's Smash, the last AEW show of 2022, and I'm very excited for it. I'm going to be here doing it tomorrow night on the Big Fight Field channel, so subscribe to that. And then I'm not doing another video until Sunday. I'm going back to Florida. I'm going back to Orlando either Thursday or Friday, and I'm just going to skip out on a preview this week. I might not do a preview the rest of the season. These two games are just really meaningless to me. So I'm not really interested in doing a preview for the Patriots or the Jets game. Things could change for the Jets game, but definitely not the Patriots game. So no preview this week. So we got AEW this week, tomorrow, and then post-game recap Sunday for the Dolphins and the Patriots, which more than likely we're looking at Teddy Bridgewater against Mac Jones, and I couldn't be any less excited. So, be back for Sunday, New Year's Day too. It's a New Year's Day game, 1 o'clock. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Comment down below. Am I being too harsh on Tua and concussion protocol? Or am I being spot on saying he should retire? Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Colin_Joseph. And I'm out of here. Have a good one. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. I'm out. Peace.